All right. So, what's up? What's up, everyone? We're back at Champion Beyond the Huddle. Today, we got Olivier Camerlain, a freshman defensive lineman, 6'6". We got a big guy right here from Lafayette College. So, Olivier, how are you, man? How's the new year? How's family?
I'm enjoying time with enjoying time back home with family. It's great to be back here. You're always gone, and so you take every moment that you have with family and you enjoy it, you cherish it. So
If
feel
we just backtrack and go from the beginning, okay, from where you are to McCallie to Quebec, how did football started for you?
so I started playing, I think 9 years ago now. When I entered high school, I went to College Charles-Lemoyne in Longueuil, and at that time it was the first year that our new coach was there. It was his name was Coach Pompian. And then from there, I've played hockey my whole life up until that point, and I wanted to try something new. To be honest, I wasn't that good at hockey, so I was able to try another sport, and I just fell in love with the game. I remember the first 2 years, it was really hard. I was kind of long, didn't have the weight, didn't know how to control my body, but took advantage of my height, and then worked out a lot with the coaches at CCL, and then they shaped me into the player I am today. From CCL, I went to Macaulay. After a great senior season at CCL, I was able to get recruited and then be able to go to Macaulay. And from there, I did camps during my junior season summer and got a couple offers from there. And with those offers, I was able to choose Lafayette.
Okay, cool stuff. I spoke to Bradley originally from CCL also. Um, I've been connected over the years. You know, football is a small world. Even though we're apart, we're
Hmm.
connected some way somehow.
Yeah, yeah, that's my guy.
That's your guy. Perfect. Well, I know Ben Grou. I know he coached at CCL. Used to be my quarterback back when I was at Vieux. Pascal Fils used to be
Hmm.
at Vanier. I know Nicolas Larieux, a couple of CCL guys. So I know they got a pretty
Yeah.
good thing going on at CCL. A nice, yeah, Larieux too. A nice culture. If you could tell us about the culture at CCL and how it prepared you for your next level.
Well, CCL, the culture for football there was kind of like a job. You clock in every morning and you go at work. I think the coach made an obvious point to put that out there. Also, it wasn't like no, it wasn't like you go to school and then you play football for fun. For them, football was their whole life, and they put their whole passion into it. And as players, you see that and you take from it. And so it was always good seeing these coaches be so involved into the game and be so hands on with you because it makes you want to be better and be a better football player. I mean, you can't buy that. You can't create that. It has to be there by the guys that are there. You can't teach that. You just have to take it.
Really cool. And were you always one of the biggest guys on the football field, or did you just hit a growth spurt at some point and ended up being 6'6"? How did that happen?
So originally, I was always kind of tall. I was more lengthy than big. Up until my last year at CCL, I was always below 200. Even my last year, I was like 205. When I first came in CCL, I wanted to be a quarterback, but I wasn't able to throw a football for my life. So they put me on the D line, and I remember I cried, I bawled my eyes out after because I didn't know what a D line was at that time.
Now you're sacking quarterbacks.
Exactly. Uh,
From CCL to McCallie, when when did it become real into your mind that you start to get serious about your next level? And obviously we have CJEP football back home. You went the prep school route. There's a lot of different routes. Okay. Why did you choose to go the prep school route? Why was it the right fit for you, in your opinion?
I've always wanted to play American football in the States, in the South, where it's like religion. People close their stores and they come and see you every Friday. I think there's no better feeling. Another thing, I feel it was a good fit for me because I'm really like open to everything and I'm open to new cultures and I'm open to all of that. And so therefore it was kind of an easy get in for me. And nothing against CJET players, but for me I feel as if prep school was the best route. for me to give myself an opportunity to go play D1. Um, so I just took it as it is, and when I had a great senior season at CCL, I kind of used that as like my confidence went up, and I was like, you know what, maybe I can play in the South. Maybe I can try to ball with these guys, and maybe I can get a D1 scholarship.
Okay. And how were your first moment, just stepping on that McCallie campus, getting acclimated with a new culture, new way of doing things? Did you hit the ground running or did you face different challenges at first?
Nah, I just hit the ground. I'm gonna be honest with you. I remember my first practice. We had this guy. His name was EJ, and he's about 420 pounds. And I remember he was one of our pulling guards. And so I'm a DN, right? And at that point, I'm like what 225, and he pulls on me. And then when I tell you, I flew for about 3 yards in the air. When I landed so hard. I was like, man, this is a whole different game. This was my first practice ever at Macaulay. I was like, oh nah, this ain't it. This ain't it. And so from there, it was kind of like a reality check.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But it was first year was getting acclimated and then getting to know how to play 11-man football, quicker, smaller field, quicker athletes, and then second year is all about using what you learned the first year and then being able to perform and hopefully have a great season.
You know what I believe about like human beings, football players, or anybody who's trying to really become the best version of themselves. I truly believe that when you're in an environment where you're exposed to a certain level of excellence or a certain level of just talent, you have no choice but to adapt because you get to see it, you get to be in it, right? And sometimes that's the transition it takes. It's not necessarily that we have less talent back home, we have great talent back home. But if you haven't seen what you haven't seen, it's difficult to get ready for it. So now that you were definitely in it, it takes a couple adjustment, you get used to the game, and then the rest is history. Is that kind of how it happened for you?
Well, yes. So I'll say this: I think in Canada, football players, we have great football players in Canada. I mean, it's overlooked all the time by recruiting coaches and D1 coaches because they have such a big pull in the United States. But I'll tell you what: there's a lot of Canadians that have came through Macaulay and Baylor, and there's a lot of Canadians that have success, and they play big factors into these teams. But they're not the only players that are getting recruited. The truth is, Canada has amazing football players. I think we're lacking in size sometimes. We're making up in techniques and in toughness. I remember this year I was playing a game and it was, I don't know, man, maybe like 5 degrees outside, and then next thing you know, the players are wearing two coats of shirts and whatnot, and you're like, oh my god, I can't play in this weather. But the reality of it is like we've played in worse weather. We've played in like worse conditions. So when you get on that stage and you just want to ball and you got a lot to prove and you got to represent a country. When I play, I represent my family back home. I represent the people back home, and I like to say, look, I may not be from here, but I still play as good or even better than you.
So if we can talk about your family a little bit, how much of an influence or impact did they have just on your journey from leaving to Quebec to McCallie, the advice maybe that you've gotten from them?
I think I wouldn't be able to do it without them. They're a backbone to what I've created. They've been there for me this whole time. They've signed me up for football. They've supported me through this whole journey, and I can't be more than thankful for that. I'll never say thank you enough. They come down, they see my games. They're always there to support me, even when they're not there physically. They're there in my conscious. So it's something that family is something that you can't take away. In everything that I do, I'll have family with me, and I can't thank them enough for what they did and how they supported me through this whole journey and the journey that's about to, just begin right now.
Mm, really cool. Really cool. And obviously, McCallie is down south. So did they get to go all the way down to watch you a couple times there too?
Well, yeah. So this year, state final. I think we had 20,000 some people in the stands. Baylor Macaulay, big game. They were able to make it. It's always great playing in front of your folks. It's always a great feeling, and there's nothing like it. You just want to show them all the hard work that you put into everything they sacrificed for you, everything you sacrificed for them, and then showing out what the hard work, it pays off. You're now there showing receipts. So every time they come, it's great. It's a great feeling.
Really cool. And how did you feel that McCallie opened up doors for you to be where you're at now? How much of a role have they played in your journey?
I can't thank them enough. Macaulay, especially Coach Potter, Coach Bradford, Coach Har. Um, they're my position coach and my head coach, my OC. They've all what they do for you is they give you a plan. And first of all, you have tape in the United States, but what it created for me was an easy access to camps, and I'll tell that to every CJ players that want to play D1. If you want to play D1, you got to go to football camps in the summer. Um, so all the coaches, we were doing 4 hour rides back and forth like every other weekend, going to camps, going to Wofford, going to Furman, going to Vanderbilt. All these D1 schools, and if I were in Canada, it would be a lot harder. So in a way, being in Tennessee was made it easy for me to go to camps, those football camps, and being recruited at those football camps. And I tell every player, even in Canada, it doesn't matter if you're Canadian. If you go to camps and you ball out, just wait and see. If you trust in yourself, just wait and see.
Okay, so we're talking about the football camps, definitely, and how they open up doors for sure. And McCallie gave you easy access to these camps. Okay, definitely. How did you end up on the radar of Lafayette, and why did you choose Lafayette?
So this is kind of a crazy story. So I went to Vanderbilt football camp. It was a mega camp, and I went there at first to go be scouted by Princeton and Vanderbilt. And so I get there, I do what I do, and then when I'm out of there, I get an offer from Princeton, and then I meet up with Coach Wilkins, which is the D line coach at the time at Lafayette, and he's like, "Hey man, you reballed out, we liked you." And they were actually out there for another player. They were watching another DN. So next day, I get a call from Coach Wilkins saying, "Look, we would like to offer you from Lafayette," and everything. I was like, "I'm really thankful for that." But at the time, I had barely any knowledge about that school. So fast forward a couple weeks, I'm ready to take my official visit to Princeton University. 2 days prior to the visit, they call me up and say my grades from 3 years ago aren't valid enough for like Ivy League standards, and so they canceled everything on me. So I had already canceled my flight back home because I was like, okay, I'm going to Princeton. They're going to pay for my flight, whatever. And so I was stuck in Tennessee, and I was like, you know what? Might as well just go visit other schools. And so first I went down to South Carolina, visited Wofford, and then I went back up from South Carolina, visited Lafayette. And man, it was like I fell in love. I walked on campus, like, wow, this is not at all what I imagined. It was a beautiful campus. I had a great visit, and then 2 weeks later, I get a call from Princeton, the Princeton coach. He's like, you know what? I'll push for you through admissions if you want me to. I'm like, you know what, coach? I really appreciate it, but I've had a great time in Lafayette, and I think I'll go there instead. So I appreciate you. I appreciate you reaching out, but I'm good.
And I think a testament to just that story and your journey is that you don't get recruited by schools like Princeton or any of these other schools one way or another if your grades ain't right, right? Football is definitely a part of it, but why not make the most of it on all fronts? It's about playing football at the highest level, but also getting an education. And I think it's really cool that you check both boxes, and that makes you more recruitable, in my opinion, because it's less of a headache for a coach. They know that guy's about the right things, the right business, and that's how they want to build their programs around, right? And I think that's a really important thing for athletes to understand,
hmm
for sure. When it comes just to the atmosphere and everything at Lafayette, how different it is than from back home.
Well, I would say what's different. Well, the campus, first of all, is really old school. It's an old campus. It's a big campus, but it's a small college. I think 3.5K. So it's small. It's small classes. You have classes from 9 to 14, which are really good, which I prefer because I prefer learning in that type of environment. I feel like I can actually create a connection with the teachers. The coaches were really, they showed me a lot of love. It was more than just football. It's I just had that feeling. It's just something in me. I was like, you know what, man, this feels good here. I remember after my visit, I was talking with my parents. I was like, you know what, I want to come in here right now, and they're like, chill, you got to wait a couple of days before making that decision. But still, I was like, yeah, that's what I want. That's what I was looking for my whole time.
And what's the game plan at Lafayette? Obviously, you're coming to your freshman year, okay? You got a whole future ahead of you. I always say that when you look at football, okay, a lot of different roads lead to Rome, okay? But you need to know what Rome is for you. For some of them, it's about playing pro. And often I'm like, okay, that's a great goal. I wish it for everyone. But after that, or even beyond that, while you're playing pro, you can still set up so many things. So what's your Rome ultimately at first with your path through Lafayette? What are you trying to accomplish? What are you looking to accomplish there? And then beyond Lafayette after that, what's your vision?
Well, obviously going pro, but I think if I don't go pro in the NFL, I still be out of Lafayette with a great degree. I mean, we're talking about top 20 in the country in small colleges. So I'll be out of Lafayette, even though if football doesn't work out, I'll still have a great education. I'll do what I want, and then hopefully be able to work in the United States for a little while. Settle down there and do what I got to do to make money. But yeah. So even if football doesn't work out, I still be out of Lafayette with a great education, a big network of people that have same values and same visions as me, and hopefully take off from there and be able to have success in my other
Really
career
cool.
paths.
Really cool. And what legacy or impact would you like to leave? So now you're talking about like your goals, right? For you, your vision for you. If you were to leave an impact at Lafayette or even back home, at younger guys looking up, dreaming the same things you're dreaming, they don't know exactly where to go, what to do at first, and they're looking just for someone or some people for inspiration. What legacy do you want to leave for these
Well,
guys?
all the kids at CCL, all the first year, second year, third year, fourth year, all the everybody there. I just want to tell them that it's possible. It's not because you're not there right now that you won't be there. Um, I'm the prime example of it. I was not a starter for the first 3 years of my career. I was not that good, but then COVID hit, and I had time to develop myself, and I grew, and I worked out a lot, and had a great senior season at CCL. And all I needed was one great season for me to be able to start off my career. Um, to be honest, I wasn't always the best. I'm still not the best, and I probably won't be the best. But I'm reaching for it every single time that I step foot on that football field, and that's what I want young football players to know from all around the country and all around Canada. Also, is like, look, you might not be the best right now. There's always going to be somebody better than you, but how bad do you want it, and how bad are you willing to put into it to get after your goals? And no matter, and the truth is, the more you put in, the more you get out. And I know it's repetitive, and you've heard it a million times, but it's true. If you put in a lot of effort, just you're gonna see all the results, and it's a great feeling. There's no better feeling in this world.
I love what you just said, man, because I remember one thing that our coaches used to tell us all the time. They said that potential gets you fired. And what I mean by that is that you can have all the potential in the world. If you don't put in the work, right, it means nothing. It means nothing. So that's the cool part is that you're showing that, hey, if you have potential and you put in the work, great things happen. Great things happen. And that's the thing about potential too, is that right now, I have no doubt about it, you're not even close to the player you will be 4 years from now, right? 4 years from now, but your coaches definitely see something in you, right? To kind of develop that, but you have to put in your end also on that, and you're doing exactly that. Okay, so now I want to go a little bit deeper in that. Okay, if I just ask you, Olivier, I have a good idea already just from listening to you talk. But if I ask you, who is Olivier?
Well, I'm never satisfied. I think that's mainly what I live by that. I have two quotes that I read every morning and I go by. It's I'm never satisfied, and it's kill or get killed. It's a dog's world, man. You gotta go out there, you gotta go get it every time. I'm not where I am today because I was passive. I'm not where I am today because I was, just floating and going with the flow. And when everybody goes right, I go left. It's Look, football, man. It's a man's sport. You got to be a man to play ball, and you got to be a man in this world to be able to have success. I'll tell you what. I'll try every day to be that man, and I'll try every day to be that guy. And whatever I do, football aside, every studies, whether it's with the people I love, I always try to be the one that you can have support on, to be the one you can call, also be the one that's always pushing you and wanting you to be better than what you are today. I want to wake up every morning and be better than what I was yesterday. And if I'm not satisfied. And so that's what I always reach for.
Love it. And one thing I'm keeping in mind from what you said, because it's so true, kill or get killed. And some people will listen to this. Some people that may not understand, what you're talking about, may be like, oh, this is harsh. They may be offended. But the thing about it is that you're going to Lafayette or anywhere else, matter of fact, you have to take someone's job, right? People
Yeah.
want what you want also, right? Somebody want what you want. Somebody else wants your spot also. And you can be the best teammate in the world, but I find you do contribute more and you make more of an impact if you are the best version of yourself and if you make no compromises about it, which is what you're doing. And if that means that, hey, uh, I'm going for it and I'm going to raise my level and other people have to raise their level to be with me, then good. We all win from it. But make no mistake, uh, it is what it is, right? Kill or get killed. Exactly. And that's so true. And that's something that people need to understand, especially younger players, because again, they might look at where you're at and be super inspired and be like, hey, I want to do that too, right? But they don't understand that, okay, let's say they play offensive tackle. Well, if they reach that level, they have to deal with you too, right? and no matter how much you like them, it's a competition, and that's just the reality of it. And that's why this game is so
Oh, yeah.
great.
So I always tell people, I'm not where I am today because I was passive or because I was taking reps off in practice or because I was skipping a workout because I was sore. Uh, you got to work through these. You gotta always push yourself even more. And I always say to my guys, the day you see me and I look like I'm dead or I look like I'm tired, I don't look like I don't want to do this. Tell me and I'll quit and I'll hang up my cleats. The day that I'm not able to give my all every time is the day I'll quit, and I live by that.
And that what's cool about that is that it's the definition of having no regrets too, right? So whatever you do, you do it full out, and then you can sleep well at night, and then you move on to the next thing that you're gonna do full out, which I've absolutely no question when it comes to you. I have two more questions for you. Okay, the first one, I'm curious to know, what does football mean to you?
Man, that's deep. Football is a passion to me. Football is an escape, but football is a place where I can be myself. Um, I'll always be thankful for football because it taught me how to be a better man in life in general. Um, Projects, schoolwork, even when I go to be in my career, football will have taught me how to push myself even more and how to be successful. And I'll never be thankful enough for that. A lot of people, you know, when they go out in the real world, they're unable. When they get put down, they have a lot of trouble getting back up. If I mean, football taught me to get back up immediately and go hit that guy. You know, it is what it is. You know, you get back up, get stronger, and football for me is like it's a godsend gift. You know, I'll always be thankful for that, and I can't thank it enough.
Mm, deep, deep stuff. Deep stuff. Man, you love the game, and I wish you nothing but the best in this game, man. I hope you go as far as you can, especially with this mindset. I'm pretty sure that whether it's within the game or beyond it, you're gonna do some good things, man. You're gonna do some good things, and that's why you're here. That's why I'm excited that you're here, man. Just listening to these things for sure. And let's go a little bit deeper than that now. We talked about football, okay? So football, the way I see it, it's a stepping stone, okay, for much more. Whether it's in sports or everything else, you said it. It helps you be more of a man. It helps you maximize your potential, right? Reach greatness. What is greatness to you? Okay, what is greatness to you?
Greatness is overachieving. It's always wanting to aim higher. It's always wanting to get more. Uh, you're great when you've accomplished more than everybody else. Um, that's you know, it's I always say, you know, greatness is something that you got to earn. You're not just a great guy. You earn being a great guy. You earn being great by what you do on the football field and what you do in your life. Um, People that are passive in their approach will barely ever be great. People that are aggressive and that are go getters more often than not will be great. You know, we look at guys like Kobe Bryant. You know, there are guys that are out there always giving it their all. You know, and you know teammates might hate them because they're pushing them every time in practice. They're pushing them, but I mean, look, he's one of the greats. He's one of the greats for a reason, and I look up to him a lot too. So if you always have that mentality to push for more and strive for better, then you'll be great.
If you wanted to see another football player on the podcast, again, who you find as a great story, that could inspire people, who definitely is much more than simply an athlete, um, and that you could hook me up with, of course, who would that be and
I
why?
got you. I say my dog probably Paul Marie Dogie. He's the DN at he's a DN at Macaulay. He plays. He's gonna play at Colgate next year. So we're gonna play, and we live together. We're roommates, so it's gonna be funny because we're gonna play against each other next year. But uh, he keeps on pushing me. Me and him are in constant competition, and we keep on like iron sharpens iron. We're always going against each other, and I think football aside, he's one of the most out there and greatest guy I know. So I think you should definitely look into him.
We'll do. We'll do for sure, man. We'll do for sure. I have to tell you, Olivier, honestly, whatever gifts that God gave you, you're making the most out of them. And that's inspiring to me and to a lot of other people. So keep going that route, man. And I've been saying it in other episodes, but the thing I find is most important out of this podcast, okay, obviously, is showing athletes and what they're about. But in the back of my mind, might not see it, but I have two young boys, right? I have two young boys. And the thing about me is that, hey, I've been coaching, I've been mentoring athletes for years, but one day, because that's just how life is, maybe they might not always listen to me. But I find if we have leaders like you that they can look up to, we're doing something right. So I want to celebrate these people and show these people, right? So thank you for that and keep going that route. Definitely. Lafayette's got a good one. They got a good one.
I, I appreciate it, Coach. It's really meaningful to me, and I wish you success in everything you do.
All right, guys. So this is it for Champion Beyond the Huddle. Olivier Camerlain, defensive end, Lafayette College, freshman. Go check him out. He's doing great things out there. It's got a bright future. I'm definitely excited to see what's next for you. Where can people follow you, Olivier?
On Instagram, it's my last name with an extra I, so it's Camerlain with two I's. And on Twitter, it's Olivier Camerlain with a one. So yeah, just look it up. It's I'm out there if you want to see my tape. If you want to see me on Instagram, what I post, everything should be on there.
Perfect, guys. So thank you a lot for showing up to the show. I appreciate you. I wish you the best. See you next time, guys. Take care.